Hey guys, welcome back to another brand new video. Today we're going to be doing another tier list. We're going to be tier listing what I personally believe to be the best and worst SMGs, throwing them with the overall tier list that we have from the other episodes. We're not comparing those guns to the other guns that are also on the list. We're going to be comparing them in their class. Now we're going to be going over the pocket ARs, aka the submachine guns. Like, that's literally what they are. And yeah, it's just going to be a fun little video. I don't want to go too much into detail of why I think they're probably the best guns. Some people disagree, some people may agree. It depends, honestly. So let's get into it, with the MP7 being the first gun on the list, the first one that you unlock at rank 0, along with the UMP. Now, for a rank 0 gun, it is absolutely a shredding machine. Honestly, this thing is busted. SMGs are currently like dominant meta in this game at the moment, especially because most fights are close range. Most of these SMGs can be used as ARs, honestly. Magazine, it never used to take a magazine, and now, well, it did used to take a magazine, and then they took it off, and then they put it back again with a quick A magazine. So the reload time's in sub 3 if you have the B25 URK on it. I'm pretty sure I've done most gun build guides on most of these guns, so I'm not going to really go over the gun build. I'm just going to go over the gun. This gun is an absolute shred machine, man. This thing is. But yeah, the only barrels that this thing can't take that would also make it busted, like insane, is the long barrel and the heavy barrel, obviously with the damage increase. However, thankfully, you can't actually use long or heavy barrels on submachine guns, otherwise they would actually just be busted. It is what a submachine gun's supposed to do. It does have range, though. Has a lot of range. The thing is about submachine guns is that in this game is that some reason I like ARs. The velocity, there are ways you could build this to bump it up, the velocity and accuracy and stuff like that, but the TTK on this gun is incredibly fast for a level 0. It's a level 0 vector basically, but like, it is a very good weapon, honestly. Even with like a very like minimalistic recoil build, it's still quite accurate. It's still got decent range at around 50 meters, where it still shines bright. Fire rate is very good. Honestly, you gotta be, this is like a strong contender to the Vector, and for that reason I'm just gonna straight up give it an S tier, because honestly this thing is quite strong, and for it to be a contender to the Vector, I think that lives up to, you know, getting the S tier ranking. Next up we have the UMP. I really love this gun, honestly. However, I feel like it feels, when you're using it in game, it feels too much like an AR. Like, that's the issue I have with submachine guns, is most of the time they have a very good range. But I do enjoy using this gun. The recoil is insanely good on this thing. The accuracy is quite good, decent. Base, this is all base stats. Base reload time is insane. Not the strongest counter to most ARs, but it is a very good weapon. Again, it takes all the SMG attachments apart from, you know, long barrel, heavy barrel, like not being able to increase its damage, which is a good thing for SMGs. And just the feel of this gun, like, I'm barely pulling down. Look at this recoil. It, like, without any attachments, level 0, it's just a straight line. It is so good, so fun to use. It is quite a strong feeling weapon when you're using it. But with most people running around using Vectors and MP7s, P90s, Grozers and stuff like that, right? You're not going to be winning most fights in up close and personal, you know? I feel like this is one of the guns where I'd happily stick a suppressor on it, because the recoil is just insane anyway. And like, it is a perfect flank gun, I will say. It does shine in its flanks. However, where this thing falls short is its magazine size. I don't think you get many base magazines. It's hard to tell in the firing range, but you get 25 bullets per mag, and I think you get around 6 mags base. You can use range of vest to also increase, like, you know, how many mags you get by 2. The fact of it being, you know, 25 bullets per mag is a bit of a shame, really. Like, you're not able to, you know, have the opportunity to use an extended mag or anything like that. I don't know if, you know, UMPs in real life have extended mags or anything. I'm not really a gun guy, but I would love like an extended mag to make it 30 to 35 bullets. With maybe a bit more recoil penalty trade-off. But for that reason, I am going to give it a high B tier, because most of the other SMGs in this class just outgun it. So now we're moving on to the PP2K. Now, the one thing I straight away want to say is that obviously you can't have an underbarrel of it, and that's fine. The horizontal recoil is good. The vertical recoil is quite okay, but damage is where it lies. Like, you know, falls short compared to every other SMG. You can't boost it, of course, because again, you can't add any other barrel that damage boosts, like the heavy or long barrel, and you can't add any tactical or anything like that. You can only have suppressors, which it's quite fun to run a suppressor on this gun. You know, you can boost the accuracy by a tiny bit, but you're not really going to feel it that much. There's just not much customization with this gun, obviously, but however, you can run a 60 round magazine with this gun, but again, you are pushing that vertical recoil up. Slapping a sight on this gun and sending it on your way is probably the better move, you know? And for that reason, it just doesn't feel like it deserves a high rank because there's not much customization with this gun. I don't know if like, again, I don't know in real life if the PP2K can actually take barrels like this or anything like that, but it is a fun gun to use nonetheless. Because of the horizontal recoil, it is so much easier to control. The headshot multiplier, obviously for SMGs, isn't that great, but since the damage is quite low, the multiplier is like, it's only adding an extra 4 damage to the gun. So that's not much. So I will give this also another B, just behind the UMP, because less customization doesn't make the gun feel as unique, you know, because you can't make your own like fun builds with it. You can't really, you know, experiment with it at all. You just basically slap on a sight and maybe an extended mag and go on your way. But it is a very good gun nonetheless. I'm not underestimating it at all. Very fun gun to run around and just beam people with. Now we're moving on to the PP19. The PP19, probably my favorite submachine gun. It's borderline OP. I wouldn't say it's borderline OP actually. I say it's perfect. It's probably one of the most meta balanced SMGs. If the MP7 or the KRISS Vector weren't so meta in this game, I think we'd see a lot more PP19s because of how it just feels right, if you know what I mean. I don't really know how to explain it, because obviously if you don't have those two metal guns, there's going to be another place that takes its place. If those two guns weren't meta, I honestly feel like the PP19 or the MP5 would take its place, and rightfully so, because it feels powerful, but not too powerful, if you know what I mean. The vertical recoil is just insane. The velocity is okay. The accuracy is quite good. Fire rate is the same as the UMP. Decent. Good running speed time. It's probably like the perfect SMG, you know? Damage is quite good, so you got... And the good thing about this gun is that it actually can take long and heavy barrels. Further increasing its power, obviously making it so you can actually hit 4 to 5 shot kills. And with like, obviously how good the base stats are, you're not going to penalize it that much. Like, long barrel, increasing its accuracy to 82, it's probably like one of the most goated SMGs that is just not busted, you know? Feels so good to use. It does, again, it doesn't rival like the likes of the MP7 or the Vector, but I'd honestly give this gun a solid A, like a very high A, borderline S. It is probably like, you know, one of the most balanced SMGs that could be meta, and it is, I love it. I really do highly recommend using this gun if you haven't already. Now we're coming on to my fucking bane of existence. Ignore the fact I almost got 1,000 kills. I unlocked it, used it for a bit, decided it was cringe, and I was like, yep, that's me done. You unlocked this gun at rank 70. The one issue I have with this gun is the magazine size. The fact you can rock, you know, drum mag with 60 rounds and the base mag, even with quick A or anything like that, is 40 rounds is a bit much, I think. With how much more bouncier it is compared to other SMGs, it's probably like the one with the most horizontal recoil in the game. There are ways to make it, you know, range efficient. Whereas I just feel like close range, you're just going to dominate everyone. It is the best gun in the game by far. Obviously, you're not going to snipe someone with it, but that's the whole point of SMGs. You're not supposed to snipe people with it. You're supposed to be up close and personal. But this thing just throws TTK out the window and absolutely just shags it. If you see or hear it around the corner, you might as well just press respawn. You're gonna go back to base. You're just gonna, you know, go back to the lobby, do something, move to fucking Hawaii. There's just no point of contesting this gun unless you know you have the upper hand. This is obviously, I'm just gonna say it now, it's an immediate S tier weapon. It is busted. I believe they need to do some sort of recoil nerf. Maybe the base magazine nerf as well. If you somehow haven't seen this in everyone's montage where they use third-party crosshairs because they don't know where the center of their screen is, this, well, yeah, goodbye. Like, does feel very good. The recoil, the base recoil is okay, it's decent, very controllable. Like, you don't really notice the horizontal recoil that much, I'm gonna be honest. And again, there's ways to, like, this is the base, this is just optic slapped on the top of it, and there are ways to make this thing a lot more powerful. It is in the game. You can't really hate people using it. I will say this does suck the fun out of playing the game for me at the current state it's in. I do know that there's supposed to be meta weapons in the game, but it's more of the fact that it's more broken meta rather than, you know, somewhat fun, balanced meta, where, yeah, most of your deaths are going to be coming from this thing. Because once people unlock it, they just want to, you know, they want to make other people feel what they felt whilst they're grinding to it. Oh yeah, by the way, yeah, S tier, S tier weapon, we did say this earlier. It's just immediate S tier. There are ways you can build this thing to be insane. I will give you props. There are different ways to make this thing more unique. Like, you can obviously do the Osprey drum mag type beat. You can just go quick A, B25 URK, you know, Van B, or vertical, or like tactical barrel, something like that. There are a fair few ways to customize this gun, and that's the one thing I like about it, is that it's not like the same for every other gun where you're just going to be rocking a tactical vertical barrel or B25 quick mag. There are pros and cons to a lot of barrels and under barrels in this for this gun. I will say that. Next up, we have the MP5, probably one of my favorite, like, second favorite SMG to use. Does feel good, does feel very good to use. Has a very good damage, by the way, 29 damage per shot. Now, this being the last SMG you unlock, compare it to the AK-5C, where it's just a pile of shit and just isn't supposed, like, I don't understand why this thing's in the game. For a last unlock in the SMG category, it deserves it. See, I could see this contending the KRISS Vector. It is very good. The horizontal recoil, the vertical recoil, both of those are insane. The velocity is the same as, you know, the KRISS Vector. The fire rate is a little bit better than the UMP and PP19. This is one of the guns where you can rock an SDN, take the minus damage hit, because that damage is quite, like, nuts. You're still going to be 4 to 5 hitting people anyway, maybe even 3 to 4 hitting people, depends. Boost its accuracy, its velocity by a tiny amount. Nerf, you know, take down that horizontal recoil by a tiny amount just for a little bit of damage reduction and a tiny bit of control reduction as well. For once, you could also, you know, your running speed is insane with the short A. You are 10 less bullets down, but holy, you are so quick. This could also be applied to a couple other SMGs in the game, maybe even the Vector, who knows. You know, Vector has 20 round mags, base mag 30 round, extended mag 50 round. I feel like that would be good enough for the Vector, or maybe a little buff as well. But your running speed is the best with any SMG in the game for this, and for 20 bullets a mag, obviously, if you're more of a movement player, 20 rounds of mag, you can hit some clips with it. The damage is very good. You are going to be, you know, 3 to 4, 5 hitting people consistently with this gun because of that good damage. For a last unlock, I don't feel like it's overpowered at all. I feel like it is, like, the PP19, probably a good, powerful, balanced weapon. And for that reason, especially with, like, the unique magazine, I like the way you can, you know, like, look how fast I am. Crazy fast compared to, like, other SMGs. You can 3 to 5 hit people with this gun. It is insane, honestly. Very good contender for the Vector as well. Honestly, S tier weapon, just behind the Vector. If we're being the last unlock, you expect it to be like this. I know there's probably a little bit of hypocrisy in that because it is quite a high damaging gun. But yeah, that concludes today's video. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Probably looking at the ARs. Peace.